G'day everyone. This episode I'm going to sort of be walking you through setting up a really simple kind of car system, but mainly it's setting up this G-force drifting camera. So as you can see, as I'm moving left and right, the camera is sort of compensating for that by moving itself sort of towards the direction that I'm actually moving the car and not the direction that the car is facing, like this. And as an added bonus, we'll do horizon leveling like that. Awesome, let's get into it. So we're just going to create a new scene, call it main scene, as usual. Save it into folder, scenes. Main scene, awesome. Now what we're going to do is just quickly install Terrain 3D and a roads plugin. And also I'm going to import a model of the car. And so I'm just going to do that. So the first one is Terrain 3D. Let's see, where is it? Terrain 3D. Yep, so we're going to install that one. Cool, yep, whatever, all good. Cool, so then this one's called the Godot Road Generator, and you want to just quickly install that one as well. Now that we're back, we're going to just create a node called environment. Add the Terrain 3D to that. And then what I like to do is just sort of quickly, we're just going to first of all save the data directory. So I usually create one, terrain data, and then in here I'd create a folder called main scene, and then I'd select that as the current folder. But I think what we need to do now is just make sure that that plugin has been turned on and enabled. So we'll just enable them both. Hopefully this doesn't crash out. Nope, all good. Awesome, and make sure you're saving a lot when we're using plugins while we're actually using them, because I'm on Godot 4.4 right now and I don't know if any of this stuff's going to mess up, so we'll find out. So first I just make a couple little edits just to give it something to save in the terrain data, and now we can sort of get started with getting the player in here. So let's import that other model. So just create a new folder called car and then import whatever car you want. Cool, so I like this one, but it's a little bit big, so I'm just going to first of all reparent to a new node, a vehicle body 3D, and then we can just go to the edit children. We'll do this the easy way. Actually, we can just go make local, right? Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, that's the one. Cool, so we're just gonna make local. And then we can rearrange this the way that we like. Which the main issue we're gonna have here is these wheels need to be connected to the body. See, those arrows have gone away. That's basically it. So we've also just got to, yeah, like I said before, make the thing a little bit smaller. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meters across. Probably want to bring that down to about there. And then these wheels, let's get real. Come on, wheels. Let's grab these front two. Get that in line. Rear two, get that in line. Sure, we'll let them poke out a bit. Actually, how far along was that? Just 1 meter? Okay. And then we're going to grab these. The actual geometry of the wheels. Going to hit T to turn on local transform, and then we're going to make them. Oh, come on. Make them. Okay, we're going to do it through here. We'll just make them smaller through here. I kind of like the fatness of these, so we're going to reduce it all, and then maybe make them a little bit fatter. Yeah, like that. Something like that. Let's go with that. Okay, so we want to put them where they're going to bottom out to begin with. So we'll probably lift it up a little bit. And we'll keep them pushed out so we can actually see where the wheels are. Cool, cool. Right now, Okay, hold on. We've messed up something here. We're just going to reposition this. Yep, and then we'll move the actual wheel down. Alright, I'm just going to mess around with this for a sec. Cool, so I've just lined them up properly. I'm going to fix their scaling a little bit. Not the scale, yeah, the scaling of the actual wheel itself, because you can see this blue line here. It's just a little bit bigger than it should be, so back to something reasonable like that. And that'll be for all of them. Awesome. Yep. It might help to push them out a little bit further, but I'm not going to bother right now. Alright, cool. Cool, so next we've got to set these front ones up as being steering. Set as steering, and then the back ones will set just the back ones up as the traction for now. There's traction, awesome. I'm going to grab all of these and we're just going to mess around with these suspension settings. So travel, you'll set to about 0.2 for now. Stiffness, we're not messing around, it's going to have 50. Yeah, the 6000 should do. Friction slip, go 1.3. Rest length, 0.1. I think we want. Radius, yeah, 0.3. Cool, and now we're going to have a look what that looks like. And I'm just going to add a camera on the back here. Now this is going to look ugly as hell. And I know because I would never do this. But it's just hard attached to the back of the car, just so we can see what's going on. I'm going to push it to the left a little bit so we can see what's happening with the steering as well. I'll make sure we set that to current. And now if we run this scene, we'll see what happens. So select current. Okay, we flick around and all over the place for some reason. Interesting. Cool, so we'll go back to the 3D body. We'll make this 1000 instead of 40 kilos. And then we're going to lift it above the ground to see what happens. As well as add a sun and add an environment. Just so it doesn't look so bad. Oh, look at that. That's messed up. Okay, so terrain 3D. We also want to make sure, yep, cool, collisions are enabled. Vehicle body, let's see what's going on here. Boom. Okay, that must have something to do with maybe the stiffness. Maybe I went a little bit overboard. Okay, interesting. Let's figure this out. Now I might be interesting. Oh, I think I know what's going on actually. So we actually have to create a collision shape 3D. I haven't done that yet. Just of a box shape. So it's going to be on the vehicle. We're just going to put about there. And then this will just be the extents of the vehicle in the physical realm. Also probably want to set this to its own physics layer. We'll set it to 2, mask with 1. We'll just name them to make sure. Car and world. Cool, now let's see what happens. There we go, that's a lot better. Alright, next thing we've got to do is actually hook some controls up. So, as well, I don't really like this embedding stuff, so I'm going to just turn that off real quick. Going to add some actions in. So, what do we want? We want move up, move down, move left, and move right. Then we want like brake, I guess. Cool, so move up, move down, move right. That's actually it. Yeah, that's probably all we'll need for now. I'll accelerate. No, that's sort of move up, isn't it? Alright, we'll see how that goes. So I've got a controller here, but you can put in whatever you want. Just for the sake of it, I'm going to put WSAD controls in for now. And then also add in these controls on my controller. Bang, bang. Cool, now let's see what happens when we run that and do anything. Okay, so we haven't actually written any code that it actually makes sense. So what we want to do now is this is separate from the world, so we're going to say branch a scene, and we'll call this car, our car. Yeah, sure, that'll do. Then we're going to go into that scene, make sure it's zeroed out always, and it is zeroed out. Yep, cool. So what do we have to do? We could add a script to it. Cool, add the script, make a new folder, scripts, our car.gd. Now, we're just going to go straight to the input function. Input, so we go var steering input, or steering value, steering input, float, we're going to have throttle input, and then we're going to have brake input. So this is going to equal, remember you hold Alt to edit in more than one place at once, equals input dot get, well, we want axis for the first one, get axis, so this is going to be move left and move right. Cool. Get input strength, get action strength. Yep, there we go for the throttle. Get action strength. Move up, and then move down is going to be the brake strength. Cool. So then in physics, actually we don't need to do this in event, do we? I mean in input, we should do this in physics event, physics process, and then go steering input, steering equals steering input, the engine force equals, we want export bar engine speed float equals, let's go 100 for now. Of course it was engine speed times throttle input, and then brake equals the same thing, but it's going to be the brake speed, brake power, call it that, engine power. Brake power, engine power, brake input. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, look at those wheels. Maybe we need a little bit more power. Where's engine force? Oh, right, here we go. So brake power. That might be doing it. No? Okay, what about a throttle input? Here we go. I always do this. Alright, let's figure this out. Yeah, okay, I messed up. I should have put move up here as the right trigger. What is this? Move up W, yep. That's the right trigger. Move down as the left trigger. That's what's messing it around. Let's have a look at that. Oh my god. There we go. We just had to add a little bit more juice. We just had to add a little bit more juice. So we go to 1,000 up here. Maybe we change it to 2,000. See how well that works. There we go. And also our steering is inverted, so we're going to go move left and move right. We're just going to flip those. Cool, that's better. Awesome, look at that. We're driving around. This suspension needs a lot of work. Jeez. Okay, so one thing to stop the rolling is we can set the center of gravity actually just underneath it, just slightly. Here, let's go back. Center of mass, negative 0.5, and that should keep it sort of upright. We should also edit these wheels to have a little bit less of a rolling effect. The body roll. We're also going to turn up this engine power. That's not enough. 8,000, how's that? That's a start, isn't it? That's a start. Look at that, we're starting to get this like drifting motion in there. And so we'll actually be able to see the effects of this sort of camera trick. Alright, I'm going to lerp the steering too because this is turning way too far. So the steering equals lerp steering to steering input, and we'll just do it to the delta times 5. We'll see what that looks like. It's a little bit better. I should probably add a max steering angle in there as well. Times 0.8. We'll just do it from here. So 0.75. How about that? Cool. Now let's mess around with this roll. So this stuff here, we've got the roll influence. I'm going to set that to 1, and now we shouldn't get any insane rolling at all. Awesome, here we go. Alright. So now it's time for the camera angles. So we're going to set up this camera inside of there, but what we want to do is we want to level out the horizon. So ideally what we do is we copy the Y rotation of the car, but not the X or the Z. Maybe the X a little bit, but we'll get into that. So what we're going to do is add our remote transform 3D. We're going to put that where we want the camera. So camera remote 3D. Cool. So we're going to do a little bit of this through the node, and we're going to do a little through code. So the remote path here, we're going to set to the camera 3D. This camera 3D, we're going to go to visibility, no, where is it? Transform and go top level. Cool, so this will now, it will exist not in the local coordinate system. So use global coordinates, yep, camera path, yep. So we're going to get rid of rotation and scale from this. I'm going to make sure that this is turned around one time. I'm going to have a look at it. Yep, that looks cool. I like that. Perfect for now. Maybe add a little bit more FOV so we can see the speed a little bit better. So the camera remote 3D is going to actually update to the position. That's pretty cool. So let's have a look at it. Maybe make it a little bit higher. A little bit lower. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So now that we've got that set up, we're going to go have a look at what that looks like in the game. And what you're going to notice is the Y is not going to be linked at all. But that's the one that we want to sort of edit with code anyway. So that's a start. You know, something like this. Something like that. So we'll go back to the vehicle code. And now we're going to need to figure out the G-forces, I guess, and figure out how to angle the camera. But first, we just want to get the camera, and we're going to, in physics process, we're going to do this in process, probably physics process. We've actually moved all of this into the process function, by the way, because it doesn't really matter with the physics process, right? Camera 3D dot position, not camera 3D dot global position, camera 3D dot rotation dot Y equals rotation.y, right? It's going to need to be global rotation.y. So if we then have a look at that, yep, cool. So we're facing backwards. Awesome. And now what we can do is we can invert that. We're going to need to flip that around. So we can add 180 degrees, but it's probably better off that we just start messing around now. So we're going to need to get our local velocity. We're going to need to save our previous local velocity. And then we get the g-force. Now all of these are going to be vector 3's. I'm going to start at 0. I mean, this one can start at 0. Right? Local velocity. Right, now what we need to do is we need to calculate what this local velocity is going to be. So, down in our process function is where we're going to do it. Sort of in here, we're going to go local velocity equals global transform dot basis dot inverse times linear velocity, and then get a forwards and sideways velocity. We don't really need that from here. And then I guess we go previous velocity equals the local velocity, but where are we going to do that? Maybe at the end of this function. I guess once we've calculated that in our physics process, we can work out the acceleration equals the local velocity take away previous velocity divided by delta, then g-force is going to equal acceleration divided by 9.8 and then previous velocity, here we go, equals local velocity. Now let's have a look at that for a second. Cool, so then I guess we've just got to apply that to the camera. So we just move that down, and then we'll go the camera Y rotation is going to be plus, we've got to get pi, so the number for pi, right? And that's going to flip us around, and then the degrees we can figure out with the local velocity dot x times 1.1. We're going to have a look to see what that looks like now. So it's starting to work. Might be a little bit hard to see, especially because this car doesn't really drift that much. But if we get rid of that sort of springiness, let's tighten up our wheels. The suspension, max force, maybe 8,000. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. We're starting to get that effect. What if we make the force, or let's say the roll influence, 1.5, just to really stop it. Cool. So we're starting to get that camera effect there. If I turn this number up here, the 1.1, if we change that to say 1.8, we're going to really see that effect get exaggerated. Moving around left and right, but we can see where the car is actually headed as opposed to the direction of the car. So another little thing that I'm going to add before I end this video is we're going to make that steering wheel turn. Because a lot of people don't really consider it as being something to add to the game, because it might be a little bit confusing. But so what you want to do is you want to find, say, the parent of all of these things. Let's go to its local coordinates, hitting T. Now something that you can turn like this. So we're going to get the whole steering wheel. No, the whole steering wheel. No. So this one here. We go to the script, drag this in, call this one steer wheel. I'm going to go to steering. I'm going to go steer wheel dot. Now, what sort of rotation was it? It was I think that's a Z rotation, right? So rotation degrees dot Z equals steering. And now, because steering is from 0 to 1, we're going to go to steering times 180 or steering times 90. We'll see what that looks like. Awesome. Okay, it's backwards, but that's alright, we can work with that. Negative steering, right? There we go. Now we've got a camera that looks towards where you're actually moving, as opposed to just locked to the bloody the car, with horizon balancing, just by default, because obviously we're not rotating our Z value or our X value, with a steering wheel that moves around. So if you found this useful, make sure to drop a subscribe, make sure you like, all of that good stuff. Follow me, come join the Discord, bloody check out Unaccessible on Steam, which is a game that I have just completed recently, and I really hope you guys would go and check it out because I did put a lot of effort into it. So let's go. Awesome. See you next time.